Hey everybody, welcome to BODS Mayhem Hour. I'm your host, John the Bod, aka the Bod Father, and as always, bring you guys awesome interviews. And today it is an honor and privilege to have Mr. Marc Rizzo on the show. He's the guitarist of SoulflyCavalera Conspiracy, and he is set to release his fourth solo album called Rotation, March 30th via Combat Records, EMP Label Group, Amped, and in North America, and also Combat SPV, if I'm not mistaken. And we're going to be talking to him about all this. So, my man, how's it going?
Great. Thanks for having me, man.
Not a problem. Not a problem. Glad to have you on the show. I've been a big fan of yours for a while now, man, since you've been in Soulfly and Cavalera Conspiracy. I like your guitar playing, man.
Oh, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Let's get into this new solo album that you got coming. This is your fourth one. What's impressed you or excited you, Mark, the most about making the new solo album? What Rotation? What's caught your eye the most about, if anything, man?
It's definitely one of the best records I've ever made, as far as the grooves, the heavy riffs. There's a lot of technical riffs, great melodies. It's something where I think this record, even if you're not into instrumental guitar music, you're still gonna like this record. Definitely, if you're a metal fan or if you're just into instrumental guitar music, you'll get something out of this record.
Was there ever at one point, man, that you thought about adding vocals on this, possibly at all?
Yeah, I mean, over the years I've thought about it, because when I do my live shows, I throw a lot of cover songs in with vocals, and I do the vocals, or I'll invite somebody up. But yeah, I came close to maybe putting vocals on this record, but then I decided, I'm going to keep this all instrumental. I think the riffs speak for themselves. The melodies that I do have on there are super catchy. You'll walk away humming these melodies in your head. But, maybe in the future I'll add vocals. But for now, I really enjoy playing and listening to instrumental music.
Any instrumental songs off this album that stand out more to you than any on it as of right now, possibly?
Honestly, I can honestly say that this record, every song I'm crazy about. In the past, maybe looking back at my past records, I might have been like, maybe that song I shouldn't have put it on. But this record, man, it's a headbanger, man. There's a lot of heavy riffs and catchy melodies, and really every song is I can honestly say that I love.
How was working with producer? I mean, and this guy's worked with a lot of people, so he's no stranger when it comes to producing records. Chris Zeus Harris, how's been working with him, man?
Oh, incredible. He's one of my favorite producers ever to work with. It's always an honor to work with him. He's super talented, super professional, and he definitely brought this record to the next level for me, man. I worked with him the first time on Soulfly's Enslave record, which is one of my favorite Soulfly records I've ever done. And it's just incredible to work with Zeus. I think he's one of the best out there right now. He's just super professional and gets incredible sounds in his studio, and his mixes are perfect. So, I plan on working with him, again, many times in the future coming up.
I thought this is pretty cool. Your third album, of course, you independently released it in 2010, Legionnaire. Did you want to test the waters on releasing the album independently versus releasing it on a label? Let's talk about that a little bit.
Well, basically, my first two records, Colossal Myopia and Ultimate Devotion, were on Shrapnel Records. And I started recording the third one, Legionnaire, and I was excited to possibly have Shrapnel be interested in putting it out, but they just weren't interested. I'm not even sure exactly if they're even putting what they're doing right now, if they're putting records out or anything. I grew up as a big fan of Shrapnel Records and Mike Varney over there, but they weren't interested in putting Legionnaire out. And I had asked some different labels if they'd be interested, even Roadrunner at the time, because I've put out so many records on Roadrunner with Soulfly, Cavalera Conspiracy, El Nino, but they weren't interested either, So I just decided, you know what, man, I'm just going to put it out myself. And it was great. You know, I had a good time releasing it myself, and I know fans really dug that record, but it's been amazing to have to finally get Rotation out and then have Combat Records support it. They've been amazing with helping to promote this new record.
You know, it's kind of crap that you've been on, you know, album labels that long, and here a guy comes to you that says, "Hey, this is my album," and they won't put it. I don't get that. You know,
well, thank you. Yeah, you would think, you know, the labels I've worked with in the past would be interested in putting out my instrumental stuff, but they're not. You know, I've gotten zero support from any of these labels I've worked with in the past for putting out my own instrumental stuff. But it's all good. You know, I'm super stoked to be part of Combat Records, you know, with Dave Ellison and Tom Hazard over there. They've been super supportive, and you know, I want my project to be with people that are crazy about my music and want to support it 100%.
Yeah, that's just horse shit of them to do that.
Well, I got Combat Records support.
Yeah,
so I'm pretty stoked to work with them.
I just call it like I see it. I mean, geez, man, that's bad. Kudos to Combat Records and EMP and Tom and him and David. That's for damn sure.
Absolutely.
Speaking of that, since you're on board with Combat Records, EMP Label Group, how's it been working with Tom and David on this? Because I know David's, of course, Megadeth, but how is working with him on this, and how's it to see him as a label manager on this, man? Let's talk about that a little bit.
It's been great. You know, I've known Dave Ellison for a pretty long time. I played with him in Soulfly. You know, we've done some other jams over the years, and he's one of my favorite bass players of all time, and also one of my favorite people in his business. You know, he's always been just such a great, humble, cool dude, incredible bass player, and he's always been very supportive of me over the years, you know, especially with my instrumental project, you know, which is amazing for me because, you know, I don't really get a lot of support for this project and even get acknowledgement for it. So, you know, Dave's always been very supportive with me over the years with my project, and Tom also. And, you know, when we started talking about maybe a year or two ago about putting this record out, and, you know, we finally nailed it down, and I'm super stoked to be part of their team and work with people that are 100% behind me with my music and my instrumental project, because it's tough with instrumental music to get that support from people. But, you know, Dave Ellison is a serious, real studied musician, you know, and he supports people that are, you know, in that field of something like this project being instrumental.
You know, I've talked to David many times. He's been on the show many times, and it seems like he would be that type of person that would honestly sit down and help you and build you. He don't have an ego, folks, at all, whatsoever. He doesn't have nothing like that.
He's a great dude, great guy, and a huge inspiration on me.
Mm-hmm. Oh, definitely, most definitely. Mark, how much growth musically have you seen yourself on your solo work go through up to the release of this solo album? Or has it just been more of a personal growth for you?
It's just been a passion of mine to play, you know, instrumental guitar music. It's what I love. It's really what I practice when I'm at home or even when I'm on tour. And you know, this is what I've always loved to do is to play instrumental guitar music. I like all different types of music that's based on the guitar. So this is just basically, you know, just what I do, you know, when I'm not doing the other projects I'm in, is play instrumental guitar music and try to perfect it and be the best I could be in this style of music.
Do you do anything differently during your writing and recording process to help keep your mind open and fresh to new stuff, you know, strictly for your solo projects to not let the music get stale? Because I know you're juggling other bands. Let's talk about that.
Well, you know, I listen to a lot of different types of music. I don't really just listen to metal. You know, I love metal. I love thrash metal, death metal. I love hardcore punk music, but I also listen to a lot of blues and a lot of jazz, just a lot of just instrumental guitar music. So I'm always listening to, you know, instrumental guitar players. And I think a lot of what I really am into, that I'm learning with this new record and even these last couple of years, is that, you know, for me, first and foremost, it's guys like Jimi Hendrix, Joe Satriani, you know, guys that are artists, you know, on the guitar, and the guitar is the focal point, and they let the guitar sing and try to play bluesy, but also stretch out from that, and that's kind of what even my new record, I think it's a heavy record, but there's a lot of improv going on. There's a lot of kind of like a bluesy, jazzy improv vibe to a lot of the solos.
What do you hope the fans take away from the new album once they start to listen to it, or just your music in general when they pick up one of your solo albums?
My music, in my opinion, it's a good vibe thing. The record is exactly kind of like the live show, which is I get up there and I like to jam. I like to interact with the audience. I like to hang out with the audience. I like to talk about guitar stuff with people. If you ever come to my live shows, it's basically I rock out, party with all the fans. I hang out with everybody after the show. We talk guitars. Sometimes I let fans play my guitar. We just hang out, and it's just like a big party, man. So that's kind of the vibe with my record. You just put it on, you crank it loud, man, and just party and have a good time to it, man. It's just, for me, it's a good vibe to listen to this music, and I think it's a positive thing. It's a positive vibe.
When are you going to take this out onto the road strictly for yourself, possibly?
I've done a bunch of tours over the years on my own. In the past, I didn't get much promotion for my tours. The last one was last January, 2017, back in January, and it was great. I went out and did it on a kind of a do-it-yourself type level, and it was a great time. So I'm hoping now with Combat on board, I'll get all the proper promotion to go out and tour this record, maybe do a tour with like another big instrumental guitar player and do something even bigger and get out there and play, because I really do believe that the music that I write for my instrumental project, it goes over so much better live, I think, and it's definitely meant for a live setting, because I like to improv a lot.
I like to see you on tour with Rusty Cooley. Man, that guy can freaking shred.
Oh, he's incredible. Yeah, I've talked to him before about that. We were actually trying to work on something like that. So maybe in the future we'll do something. I'm a big fan of his playing.
We're living in the digital era of recording albums and social media. Do you like this, Mark, especially doing solo stuff like this? Do you think it would help you out better with social media and plus, getting it out there quicker for your music?
I'm definitely, recently in these last couple of years, I've been doing more like live feeds on Facebook, Instagram, on YouTube. I've been promoting my music a lot through videos, and I definitely like doing that. I think it's awesome. That side of it's cool, that I can interact with the fans and have, kind of like a live concert, in my house and jam to the audience. I do those all the time online. And as far as recording digitally, I would love to record the tape, like we used to do back in the day, but I don't really change my way of recording. I mean, a lot of the way I make records is, I go in, I record the rhythm guitars, the drums, I'll put the bass down, and then a lot of my leads are improv in one take. I like to go for that off the cuff kind of vibe. So I'm not really doing a lot of punching and editing like a lot of players are doing nowadays. I try to do a lot of my leads in one take and real kind of, off the cuff.
Support-wise, have you noticed there's a country or a location that stands out more or surprises you that you get support for your solo albums?
I haven't really gone overseas too much with my solo project. I've been to, went to Colombia a few times, and they were amazing there. I mean, Colombia was incredible. Every time I go there to do solo shows down there, the shows have been packed. It definitely seems, when I get outside of America, I've had way better turnouts for my solo project. I did an acoustic solo gig down in the Dominican Republic a couple months ago. That was great. Even clinics, I've done some clinics in Europe, and they were a great turnout. But here in the States, it's hit or miss. Sometimes I've had some really great shows and clinics here too. And it's just all about promotion, and now that I'm with Combat, I know they're going to do a great job promoting, and hopefully I could do a lot more touring here in the States. What
made you want to become a musician, Mark? What was that spark for you that said, yeah, man, that's what I want to do?
Probably just, it's definitely a guitar thing for me. I'm obsessed with the guitar. That's my favorite part of all this, is just getting a guitar in my hand and just letting it rip. And I grew up on players, again, like Jimi Hendrix, Jimmy Page, all the 70s rock guys, and that's kind of where I'm coming from, that whole just plug in and let it rip, man.
If you could work with any musician that is alive today or that's passed away possibly, who would you possibly want to work with for a day or so, if you could pick anybody?
Yeah, I'm gonna say Dimebag. You know,
he's nice.
Definitely one of my favorite guitar players of all time, and I would love to go in the studio and would have done a record with him back in the day. I mean, he's just one of my biggest inspirations. So that would have been a lot of fun.
Folks, Marc's album comes out again March 30th. This is going to be on Combat Records, EMP Label Group. Trust me, get out and pick this up. He's a phenomenal guitar player. I've liked him ever since he's been in Soulfly, and he's just a phenomenal guitarist, man. He's got a lot of energy when you watch him play, and to me that speaks volumes for guitar players in my book. So, Marc,
thank you.
How could folks stay in touch with you, buy some merchandise, pick this album up? How can they do that, my man? And plus, when you go on tour, how they keep in touch?
Facebook, I keep in touch with everyone on Facebook. I try to answer messages. I do my live feeds on there where I'll jam out and play, or even just hang out and talk to fans. I'm real approachable, man. Or just come to the shows. I'm always hanging out. When the show's done, I'm either at the bar or at the merch table, and I'm not hiding, man. I'm really easy to find, and I like to talk and hang out. And as far as buying my merch and CDs. I'm sure Combat's going to get the new record up online digitally to buy. I know we'll have CDs soon, and I'll be selling them on my solo tours. I'm sure I'll probably have them at the Soulfly merch booth when I'm on tour. And soon I'll be putting up, I'll have some new T-shirts to put up for sale soon, too. And
I'll tell you this right now, folks. He's going to be in my area. He's going to be in Louisville, Kentucky, April 17th at the Diamond Pub down there. So I want to try to get down there and check it out and hang out with Marc and everybody, and maybe get a video interview, maybe see if I can work something out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Before I let you go, good sir, would you care to do a promo for the show?
Sure. Yo, what's up? This is Marc Rizzo, and you were listening to BODS Mayhem Hour. Turn it up and let it rip.
Everybody stick around. We got some great music coming up, and you only hear these interviews right here on BODS Mayhem Hour and Uber City Radio. Thank you so much, Marc.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it.